Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Tonight's dinner we are making a slow cooker chicken with cauliflower. So, before we continue, let me explain this. So, we're not going to cook the cauliflower in the slow cooker, we're going to cook it separate. So, it's going to be, the cauliflower is a side item. So, what this recipe is going to end up being is chicken with seasonings and all that good stuff. So, what you're going to need for the recipe is you're going to need, this is chicken, and I'm going to tell you guys, we've used this before. If you guys remember in our previous video, I did show you guys these. This is you're going to need chicken tenderloins. I'm using it as my meat of choice. You can use any meat you want. You can use chicken breast, chicken, or chicken tenderloins, whatever you have. You just need some chicken. So we're going to use chicken tenderloins. We're also going to use 1 packet of ranch seasoning mix, 1 packet of gravy mix. We're not going to use all these. We're going to use only 6. We're going to use some pepperoncinis. We're only going to use 6 pepperoncinis from the jar. You're going to need a whole stick of butter. So what we're going to do to get started is we're going to spray our slow cooker. This is so that it doesn't stick. So we spray our slow cooker real good with the cooking spray. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the seasonings mixed up. So you're also going to need a little tiny bowl just to mix your seasonings. So we're going to, now this recipe, and I know what you're thinking, well, this recipe is kind of like our slow cooker Italian pork roast that we did a while back. And it's really not actually, because the difference being with that recipe and this recipe is that we're using chicken instead of using a pork shoulder. You guys remember when we did our pork roast in our slow cooker a while ago, we did it with, it was pork and I think it was a pack of gravy mix, and we also used pepperoncinis. So, you know, just making it simple. Now, if you have never heard of this recipe before, then I'm glad I'm sharing it with you guys, because then you guys will know how to make this recipe. The recipe is very simple to do. It's very, very easy to make. And the best part is it's like I always say, this is a dump and go meal. So we're just gonna dump and go. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mix this and then I'm gonna get the chicken, because I figured if I just do this first, then touch the chicken, it's just a little easier for me. You know, we're trying to make life easy. That's what we try to do on this channel, guys. We try to make cooking fun, easy, and we try to make it economical. But really, the recipe's easy. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean up, and then I'm gonna mix that together. Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you guys something else. We're gonna cook this on high for 3 hours. Okay. We're gonna cook this on high for 3 hours. So I will be showing you guys what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna actually take this out. I think it'll be easier so that you guys can kind of see the crock pot. There you go. Okay. So what I was saying was you need to mix this up, and then another crock. Here, let me do this. We don't need that we'll need that in a minute. We're just gonna mix this up really well. Okay. Now that I have that mixed, now this seasoning right here is for the chicken. Okay? Alright. Now is where we kinda dump and go. So we're gonna start with chicken breast. We're gonna start with our chicken tenderloins. I have this is quite a bit of chicken, but it's fine. About 3 pounds of chicken or so. 2.5 pounds actually. What I'm gonna do to it is I'm gonna open it. Now this recipe is very simple, very easy to make. And you can make this recipe using whatever you want. So if you don't have chicken tenderloins, that's fine. You can use chicken breast. It doesn't matter what you use. If you don't like pepperoncinis in yours, and you think pepperoncinis are just not it's a little spicy, then you can leave it on out. It doesn't matter. You can do this with any kind of, you can do this any way you like. What I'm doing now, I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh yeah, you guys can see that. What I'm doing now is I'm just putting the chicken in the slow cooker. Now, you guys already know this. Now, this chicken is still a little bit frozen, but it's totally fine because as it cooks on low I'm sorry, I keep saying low, my bad. As it cooks on high for 3 hours, then the chicken will kind of defrost a little. So you just take it, you throw it in. It's totally fine if it kind of falls apart a little because it's frozen chicken, so it's gonna kind of be like that. But you guys already know this. So all we're doing is we're just putting our chicken in our slow cooker, and what you'll have to do is you'll kind of have to like put it in the bottom and kind of layer it almost. If it doesn't all fit in, well, it is gonna all fit in here, but you might just have to move some chicken around to make room. But now this recipe is a very simple recipe to make. Of course, when you try to make this recipe, you'll think, well, is this recipe really worth it? Am I doing everything right? And the answer might be yes. But you gotta also remember that this chicken is going to be delicious. So remember, if you run into a problem like, you know, let's say this. If you run into the problem where I'm at right now, where this chicken's still a little bit frozen, then you just cook it on high for like 3 hours or so, or until it's nice and thawed, okay? What I'm doing is this may be a minute because it's frozen chicken, and I gotta pull the pieces apart. So what I'm doing is I'm layering the chicken in the crock pot. I find that if you do this, then it makes it a lot easier to do. So it's kind of, and the best part about this recipe is it's very easy to make. Like, you can do this with you can do this any way you like. So, you know, it's very simple to do. So I'm just layering the chicken in. And remember, we're gonna see the seasoning is gonna go on top. So what I'm gonna do to this is, because, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna wash our hands first. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wash my hands, and then I'll come back, we'll put the seasoning on the chicken, I'll wash my hands again, and then we'll get those pepperoncinis in, and then we'll be on our way. Now, this recipe is very simple, very easy to make. Now, I have done a similar version of this recipe, not with chicken, like I told you guys in the beginning. I have done this recipe, a very similar recipe, but I used pork shoulder instead of chicken. So it's, you know, you can just change it up however way you want. You can use whatever you want. So now what we're gonna do, now that I got that, I'm going to, I got the seasonings mixed. We got everything kind of going. Now this is the easy part. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to get my seasonings in with the chicken. Now, instead of, like, you know, rubbing it all over, you can just take a spoon, like I have here. Take a spoon and kind of just do this. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking the seasoning with the spoon, and I'm kind of just like sprinkling it on, and then I'll kind of maybe get in with a spoon to kind of mix it up a little. But you want to make sure that your chicken is nice and seasoned and coated with that chicken, with the seasoning on, you know. So this is easier. So that way you don't have to worry about touching the chicken and doing all that, and then washing your hands again, which, you know, I don't really mind doing, but so. Now, a few of you guys have asked me to make this with chicken tenders, like chicken wings, and I want to say you could do that, but I don't know how it's gonna taste. So I'm doing this with chicken tenderloins today, but you can do this with regular chicken breast. It does not matter. Just pour the rest in, and what I'm gonna do to it, any seasonings that are kind of like at the bottom, you can kind of get in there. Now remember, this chicken is frozen, so we're gonna cook. Well, it's thawed out a little bit, but it's not completely thawed out as I like it. So this chicken is still a little bit frozen. That's fine. We're gonna cook it on high, so there's no really need there. All I'm doing to this is I'm kind of trying to get it into the meat a little bit, so that way it's nice and coated. Okay, now we're going to do this. Now remember, this is pepperoncinis. We're gonna put some in. Now we don't need all of it. We just need 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do, put this in the fridge. I'll probably snack on these later, guys. You guys know me. I love me some pepperoni as a snack. Okay. So what are we gonna do next? Well, last thing we're gonna do is put some butter in. Now, this is 8 tablespoons of butter, which means this is a whole stick of butter, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this up. And you're just gonna lay it on top of your chicken like that. Just kind of nestle it in there the best way you can. Just nestle it in there. And that's it. So, as you know, that recipe was very easy to make. It wasn't that hard to do. It took literally like 5 minutes of prep work. It was so easy. See that? That's done. Now, what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to get this started. And I'm gonna cook it on on high for about 3 hours on high. Okay, so plug it in. Now, this is basically what your meal should look like after you put all the ingredients in. You see that? It's nice and coated with the ranch and the gravy mix. We got the pepperoncinis in, and we got the butter in. It's perfect. So what I'm gonna do to this, I'm going to cover it with a lid. I'm going to put it in, in the base on high for 3 hours. So, in she goes. Whoops. All right, now the best part, it's time to set it and forget it. So, power on. We're gonna do program. We're gonna cook it on high for 3 hours on high until your chicken is tender. Once the chicken is tender, I will come back. I'll show you what it looks like. We might have to shred it, I'm not sure. We'll figure that out later. And then I'll show you what the meal looks like. So, here we go. There you go. All right. So, so what we did was lid on, cook it on high, and you're gonna let it cook on high for 3 hours. After 3 hours, we will come back. We'll open this baby up, and we'll see what we have. All right. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be back later to show you what our meal looks like. Bye. Vlog on. Peace out. Boom. Okay. Bye, guys.